Skeletons of the Marital Closet. By Tang. Chapter 1981. Shawn sat in the back seat, raising his hand to rub his temples. This time he did not bring Fiona to the hospital and had the driver wait at the entrance while he went in alone. "Mr. Wood, is your throat still bothering you?" The doctor greeted him politely. "Yes, I've been coughing up blood. Has the medication not been effective?" Shawn replied, "The coughing is less frequent, and my throat isn't as itchy, but there are still symptoms." The doctor thought for a moment. "Shall we continue with the medication?" "Your condition can't be rushed. It needs slow, careful treatment. With the weather cooling down, it's easy to feel unwell and develop bronchitis." Shawn's expression was indifferent. "I can continue with the medication, but I want to do more tests. Weren't the tests already done last time?" "Do them again. And send the results abroad for diagnosis by respiratory specialists," Shawn insisted. The doctor nodded. "All right, I can arrange that, but sending them abroad will take some time. I can wait." "Very well, Mr. Wood." Shawn underwent another round of heart and lung examinations. Additionally, he had a genetic sequencing test done, which was also sent abroad for diagnosis. By the time all the tests were completed, it was already noon. As Shawn left, he looked slightly tense and reminded the doctor to keep everything confidential. The doctor watched his retreating figure, holding the previous test results, muttering to himself, "Are all rich people so afraid of dying? Going through endless tests for a minor ailment and sending them abroad for verification. Tsk, it's just a cough caused by bronchitis. A bit of blood is not a big issue. Just take the medication, speak less, drink more water and rest. There's no need to waste so much money. These tests alone must cost at least tens of thousands." Sigh, the way rich people think is really hard to understand. The doctor put the test results away, tidied them up, and continued seeing the next patient. Shawn walked out of the hospital, his expression heavy, his brow furrowed, clearly preoccupied. His health had become his greatest concern. A mere cough should not linger for so long without improvement. He was genuinely worried that he might have some incurable disease that could not be detected by domestic medical techniques, leading to a misdiagnosis of bronchitis or pharyngitis. Shawn worried about what would happen to his Gale if he were gone. This was his biggest concern. He knew she was strong and independent. If he were no longer there, she would be heartbroken and sad, but more than that, she would collect herself and continue facing life, living well with their 2 children. However, just thinking about the future storms Gale would have to weather alone, with no one to rely on, made Shawn's heart ache. Lost in his thoughts, Shawn paid no mind to his surroundings. Orem noticed him. Orem approached proactively, greeting him. "Mr. Wood, what a coincidence, running into you at the hospital." Shawn's expression instantly turned grim. He looked at Orem with piercing eyes. There was no one else around, so they could speak freely, without pretense. "Not a coincidence, I don't want to see you." Shawn pressed his lips together. "But we'll be crossing paths many times in the future. Even if you don't want to see me, you'll have to accept my presence. Gale considers me her best male friend, almost like family. Joshua and Nicole call me Uncle Orem, and my presence in your family." Shawn interrupted him. "Orem, are you just here to boast?" Chapter 1982. "There will be more in the future," Orem said with a smile. "There won't be a next time. I won't let you get away with this forever," Shawn retorted. Orem shrugged. "You're talking like I've committed some heinous crime." Shawn could not be bothered to argue with Orem. He had no interest in bickering. Men were confident in their own strength and power. In Shawn's mind, Orem was always his defeated opponent and would remain so, never able to stir up trouble or take Gale from him. Shawn stepped forward, got into his car, and drove off. Through the rearview mirror he saw Orem staring at him. "Hey!" Shawn sneered, curling his lips. He would soon tear that deceitful mask off Orem's face. As Shawn's car disappeared from view, Orem's smile faded. Something was not right. Why would Shawn come to the hospital alone, without bodyguards or assistants? Given his status, he was always surrounded by people, especially in a place as specific as a hospital. Unless there was something Shawn did not want anyone to know. There was something fishy going on. Orem quickly thought of a plan. He called a detective. "Find out what Shawn did at the hospital today. If you can get hold of his medical records, even better." "Mr. Lefting, you want me to investigate Mr. Wood?" "Yes, I can't take this job. If I get exposed, that's one thing, but I can't risk exposing you. I'm not asking you to dig too deep, just find out which department he went to and which doctor he saw. Can you manage that?" "Understood, Mr. Lefting." "Do it quickly. Report back to me immediately," Orem ordered. After hanging up, Orem's expression relaxed a bit. He did not know why Shawn had gone to the hospital, but he had gone to check up on a men's health issue. Ivy's words from the previous night were like a thorn in his heart. Why had he not been able to perform that night? Even 2 minutes would have sufficed to achieve his goal. Orem, being a proud man, would never admit it out loud, but he had his doubts about his own health. He needed to get checked to put his mind at ease. However, what was Shawn doing at the hospital? The mystery deepened. Back at Wood Group, Shawn sat at his desk, listening to business reports as usual. Fiona finished the briefing and set the documents down, waiting quietly for Shawn's instructions. After a long time passed, Shawn remained in the same position, motionless, with his hand propping up his chin. "Mr. Wood, do you have any instructions?" Fiona called tentatively. Shawn snapped out of his reverie and sat up straight. "You may leave." "What?" "Leave." Fiona glanced at the documents in her hand. "But, leave them. I'll call you if I need anything," Shawn said. Chapter 1983. Fiona could not quite grasp what was going on with Shawn and could only nod. "Well, I'll leave now. Let me know if you need anything." She quickly left. Shawn leaned back in his chair, closed his eyes, and took a deep breath. He could not afford to lose his composure. He was confident that his health would not have any major issues, but on the other hand, he needed to prepare for the worst. Only by planning for every eventuality could he avoid being caught off guard if the worst happened. Shawn called Joe. "Joe, come to my office." "Now?" "Yes, I'm in a meeting. Give me 10 minutes, Joe said. "All right." "Yes, Mr. Wood." After hanging up, Shawn dialed the chief lawyer from the legal department. "Come over." The lawyer was puzzled by the sudden summons. Everything had been calm at the Wood Group recently. The lawyer quickly arrived. "Mr. Wood, sit." Shawn gestured with his chin. "I need to consult you about the shares." The lawyer responded fluently. "Mr. Wood, currently, the majority of the shares in Wood Group are under Ms. Nichols' name. However, since Miss Nicole is not yet an adult, Mrs. Wood holds them in trust. Previously, both you and Mr. Lucas transferred your shares to Miss Nicole. The contracts were signed and I have copies. Mr. Wood, do you have new instructions about the distribution of shares?" The lawyer assumed Shawn would allocate a significant portion of the shares to his newly acknowledged son, as it was customary in wealthy families to prioritize male heirs. However, Shawn's response was unexpected. "Yes, I want to redistribute them. Transfer all my remaining shares in Wood Group to my wife," Shawn said. The lawyer was stunned. "Mr. Wood, you're not keeping any for yourself?" "No, that would make Mrs. Wood the largest shareholder in Wood Group, with unparalleled authority." The lawyer spoke tactfully, but Shawn understood. Essentially, the entire Wood Group would be in Gale's hands. She could do whatever she wanted without opposition, holding a veto power on the board. This was the highest form of power in the group. Previously, this power was held by Lucas, then by Shawn. Now, it would fall to Gale? Even though Gale was Shawn's wife, she was still an outsider in name. It would have been more typical for Shawn to give the shares to his son or daughter, but giving it to Gale was truly unexpected. "Yes, I want her to control the entire Wood Group." The lawyer was taken aback, his mouth half open, unable to react for a while. In the deep waters of wealthy families, where schemes and betrayals were common, the lawyer had seen many cases. Most people guarded against their spouses, protecting their assets from divorce settlements. But here was Shawn, willingly handing over everything. "Mr. Wood, are you sure?" "Sure." The lawyer still found it hard to believe. "But no buts, do as I say. Prepare the contract as soon as possible and give it to me," Shawn interrupted. "Him." "Yes, Mr. Wood." The lawyer was amazed. He had only ever seen people consolidate power for themselves, never give it all away. Shawn truly loved his wife deeply. Chapter 1984. The lawyer left Shawn's office, his face spelled shock and confusion. Just as he opened the door, Joe appeared, about to enter. "Joe, hey," the lawyer greeted, stepping aside. "What did he call you here for today?" Joe casually asked. Joe, you can ask Mr. Wood out that. I've got something else to attend to. Gotta go." Joe glanced at the lawyer's retreating figure and raised an eyebrow. The lawyer was always composed and meticulous. What could Shawn have said to stun him like that? "Spill it. You don't usually drag me out of meetings." "What's the matter?" Joe said, sprawling into a chair. Shawn looked at him and suddenly smirked. "I can tell things have been going well for you lately." Spring in your step, all smiles. "Ah, the honeymoon phase, you've been through it too." That triggered a distant memory in Shawn. Honeymoon phase? He and Gale went straight from marriage. Where was there time for a honeymoon phase? There was only the phase where he realized he loved Gale. However, back then, Shawn expressed his love very selfishly. "I, indeed, went through it, but it left a lot of regrets." It's not like your sweet times with Summer, Shawn replied. Everyone's romance journey is different. No need to force it, just love each other. Best wishes to you. Joe nodded with a smile. Thanks. Acknowledging love so openly and accepting a friend's blessings felt really good. When people mentioned Joe, they would think of Summer, and vice versa. Love bonds two people together as one. Shawn tapped lightly on the desktop. By the way, Joe, how long have you been with Wood Group? How long? Joe looked puzzled. Why this sudden interest? Shawn's expression remained calm. Can I ask? Something's off. Suddenly reminiscing about the past isn't a good sign. I haven't counted, but since you took over Wood Group, I've been with you through thick and thin, day and night. I've lost count of the many times I have performed unpaid overtime. Joe said. Shawn interrupted him. It must be about 10 years now. About tat. How many 10-year periods does one get in a lifetime? Joe, among everyone at Wood Group, you're the one I trust the most. I wouldn't hesitate to tell you any secrets. There's nothing I'd keep from you, Shawn said. Joe reacted as if startled, nearly sliding his chair back. He crossed his arms in front of him. Chapter 1985. Wait, Shawn. You're giving me the feeling that you're making arrangements for your death, Joe quickly interjected. Shawn was speechless. He was not dead yet. The test results had not even come out. Joe cleared his throat, realizing his mistake. Ahem. I was just using an analogy. You know what I mean. Even if I had final arrangements to make, would I really discuss them with you? Right, you'd tell Gale first. Wait, no, Shawn, you wouldn't tell Gale at all. In the past, Joe would not have thought about it. However, ever since he started dating Summer, he has come to understand the beauty of love and learned a lot about how couples interact. If it were Joe himself making final arrangements, he would not tell Summer. He could not bear it. He was too afraid to face her. The thought of leaving her behind in this world was too painful. He would keep it a secret, silently taking care of everything before revealing the truth at the last moment. Shawn. Joe's voice grew serious, and his expression turned grave. Don't do this. If there's something you need to say, just say it. Don't beat around the bush. I'm getting really anxious here. Shawn scoffed, grabbing a document and tossing it at Joe. You're just hoping something happens to me so you can take over at Wood Group without me bossing you around, right? Joe caught the document effortlessly. I've gotten used to you bossing me around. It's ingrained in me now. I'd rather you keep treating me the same as always. With a decade of friendship under their belts, their bond was rock solid. They trusted each other implicitly, often understanding each other with just a glance. They were friends, brothers, and comrades. All right. What do you need to say? Just get to the point, Joe said, getting serious. Shawn replied nonchalantly. Everything is fine right now. What could possibly be wrong? Really? Nothing? Nothing. Then why did you call me over, just to argue? That's not like you. Can you be normal and stop acting weird? Joe scrutinized him. Meeting his gaze, Shawn said, I just wanted to tell you that among all the people at Wood Group, I trust you the most. No matter what happens in the future, I expect you to stand by me and prioritize my interests. Of course. Do you even need to say that? I also wanted to say, Shawn paused, pressing his lips together. Gale is my wife. I support all her decisions unconditionally. I hope you can trust her as much as you trust me. Joe pointed at himself. Me? Trust her? Yes. What do you mean, yes? Shawn, you're talking in riddles. I don't get it. What does Gale have to do with me? She's your wife and the lady of Wood Group, but she never gets involved in company matters. But what if she does in the future? She will be the largest shareholder of Wood Group. You know how exhausting it is to manage the company. Would you really want her to go through that? You should rather build her a haven that shields her from all of this. Involving her in company affairs was such an impossible task. Shawn should prefer Gale to be a carefree, pampered rich wife, enjoying tea, shopping, and beauty treatments. He wanted to pamper and protect her. Shawn looked at him. I just want you to understand that Gale and I are a unit. You need to trust her as much as you trust me. Joe replied, setting aside our relationship, the fact that she's Summer's best friend means I wouldn't dare offend her. Shawn, what are you really thinking? Nothing. Chapter 1986. If there's no problem, I'm outta here. Joe slapped the armrest of his chair. Can't stand hanging around here listening to your nonsense. He stood up, casting several suspicious glances at Shawn. Are you sure you're okay? Do you really wish something was wrong with me? Not really. Just feel like you're acting weird today. Shawn took a sip of his coffee. Do I need to send you out of the country again to make me seem normal? Joe immediately headed for the door. No way he was going there again. Once was more than enough. Back in the CEO's office, silence resumed. Shawn sat in his chair, unmoving as if frozen in place. Truth be told, He was not sure what he was doing. He really was not feeling normal. Since returning from the hospital, Shawn had this strong sense of unease, as if something was about to happen. Maybe it was the persistent coughing up blood that was making him anxious. Shawn summoned his lawyer and transferred all his shares to Gale, ensuring her unparalleled position in Wood Group. This way, if he were not around anymore, she would have the authority to control the entire conglomerate. Joe would be her strategist, her advisor when she faced the complexities of the corporate world. He trusted Joe. Joe would not usurp power, would not have second thoughts, would only wholeheartedly safeguard Gale and Wood Group's interests. For now, Shawn could only think of these things. He still had time, and could slowly arrange everything calmly and quietly. If he was overthinking, and his health was fine, just needed medicine and care, then he could act like nothing had happened. Just in case he really got diagnosed with something terminal, he would already prepare an exit strategy. Hopefully I'm just overthinking, Shawn muttered to himself. He had so much now. He was happy, so he could not accept that one day he might lose it all. Not that he did not cherish what he had because he got it. It was because he had gotten it before, so he cherished it more. In the evening, the Wood family was finishing dinner in Temperley Hall. Joshua put down his bowl. I'm full. You guys carry on. Immediately he jumped out of his chair and sprinted out. Seeing this, Nicole, who had just taken a bite of rice, pushed her bowl aside. I'm full too. She ran after Joshua. Both of them ran fast, afraid of falling behind. Shawn and Gale glanced at each other, very puzzled. What are they doing? Gale asked. Shawn shook his head, indicating he did not understand either. At this moment the housekeeper said, They must be fighting over the TV. Fighting over the TV? Yes. Both the young master and miss have TV shows they want to watch. Whoever grabs the remote first gets to watch their favorite show, the housekeeper replied. Gale still could not understand. Joshua and Nicole rarely argue over watching TV. Joshua may be mischievous, but he always lets Nicole have her way and never fights over it. Madam, this all started with Miss Ivy, Shawn and Gale said simultaneously. Ivy? Immediately after, from the living room came the sounds of Joshua and Nicole arguing. I grabbed the remote first. You clearly grabbed it after me. You snatched it away. The remote is in my hands. I'm holding the remote too. Chapter 1987. Rock, paper, scissors? No way, you're cheating. In front of the TV, Joshua held the front end of the remote while Nicole gripped the tail. Neither was willing to give in. I want to watch Ivy's historical drama. She wears such beautiful clothes, with lovely accessories, her skirts fluttering. Shh. A real fairy, Nicole insisted. Joshua countered, modern dramas are better, closer to how Ivy is in real life, like she's right here with us. I don't care, I want to watch a historical drama. No, modern dramas are better, they continued to argue. Watching this, Gale shook her head repeatedly, sighing. What should she do? Whom should she help? Helping either seemed inappropriate. Ahem, Gale walked over, her face stern. Stop arguing, neither of you gets to watch. Give me the remote. Joshua and Nicole did not let go. What? Are you both pretending not to hear me? Gale frowned. Joshua replied, Nicole, if you let go, then I will. You let go first. I let go and she snatches the remote. Gale reached out. I'll count to 3. Both of you let go together. Nicole switched to a coquettish tone. Mama, you're the best. Let me watch one episode, just one. We can watch together. Don't you want to watch Ivy's drama too? Shawn hesitated. How could he resist his daughter's plea? However, Gale's stance was firm. No, Nicole. Joshua can't watch, and neither can you. You both get the same treatment, no special favors. Gale always maintained fairness. Nicole was usually more indulgent as she was a girl, but Gale did not want Joshua to feel left out. Nicole looked at Shawn again. Daddy. Gale gave Shawn a warning glance. She told him indirectly to hold firm and not be swayed by Nicole's pleading. All right, 3, 2, 1, Gale said. She grabbed the remote quickly. Joshua stood with his hands behind his back, looking mature beyond his years. We can't just not watch TV. How about this, Mommy? You say which one you want to watch, and we'll go with that, sounds good. Nicole also compromised. Yeah, Mommy, what do you want to watch? Gale smiled slightly. I don't want to watch anything. Have both of you finished your homework? They nodded in unison. And the tasks for your arts and crafts? Another synchronized nod. Did you finish the extra assignments the teacher gave? Again, both nodded. Gale sighed inwardly. It seemed there was no reason to stop them from watching TV. Both kids excelled in their studies, never causing her worry. Mommy, Joshua and I just want to watch Ivy. We won't argue anymore. We'll watch whichever one, as long as Ivy is in it. Right, Joshua? Nicole said. She quickly turned to Joshua. Oh, yeah. Joshua quickly caught on. We won't fight for the remote anymore. Any show is fine, modern or historical, as long as it's Ivy. These two little troublemakers were opportunistic. Chapter 1988. Some TV would be nice. Any will do. Stop being picky, or there won't be any TV left to watch. Gale chuckled in disbelief. You guys really adore Ivy that much? Can't see her in person but you'll let her take over the TV? Joshua nodded earnestly. Because she's pretty! Watching beautiful women keeps us happy, right, Daddy? Shawn was puzzled at how Joshua directed the question to him. He was married and could not dare to look at other women. Besides, in his eyes, Gale was the most beautiful. Gale could not help but laugh. Fine, watch away. But once I turn on the TV, whatever I pick, we watch. Any objections? She said. Joshua and Nicole chimed in unison. No objections. The minor disagreement was finally peacefully resolved. Once the TV was on, the kids instantly quieted down, totally absorbed in their show. Nicole squeezed in a question during a break. Mommy, Daddy, when are we seeing Ivy again? Didn't we just see her a few days ago? I know we did, but I mean, when's the next time? Gale sighed. She conquered their hearts with just a pretty face. Beauty really is a powerful weapon. Mommy, you didn't answer me. Nicole pressed on. When do you want to? Shawn interjected. How about this week? Joshua jumped in. I want to visit the set and watch Ivy film her show. What do you think, Nicole? Great. Nicole was all in. Both of them looked at Gale, eagerly awaiting her response. How could Gale refuse? All right, this weekend, I'll take you both to see Ivy on set. But you have to behave, no fussing or causing trouble, it could disrupt their work. You got it? She said. Yes, just 5 minutes ago they were fighting over the remote, now they were celebrating happily together. Gale leaned against Shawn's chest. Should we let the crew know ahead of time? No need, we should avoid unnecessary preparations or fuss welcoming us. Let's just go over and take the kids around. They mainly want to see Ivy during breaks and maybe play with her, Shawn replied. Gale smiled. I wonder if Ivy might find it bothersome. Shawn did not answer, chin resting on her head, eyes on the TV. His thoughts were wandering. He had not coughed all day today. Maybe the medicine was working. His throat felt much better, not dry or itchy anymore. If things kept improving, no more coughing, no more blood, then he could relax. What if things got worse? He did not know if it was placebo, but as he thought of it, his throat, which had felt clear and fresh just moments ago, now started to itch again. Suppressing a shallow cough, Shawn forced himself not to dwell on it, not to scare himself. To distract himself, he played with strands of her hair between his fingers. Gale. Gale was engrossed in TV with the kids not looking up at him. What is it? Nothing. Just wanted to tell you I love you. She smiled back. I love you too. Chapter 1989. I really love you, Gale. I really love you too. Gale reached up and pinched his cheek absent-mindedly, unaware that something was amiss. Ivy's drama had high ratings, and Gale thought she was truly born for this kind of success. It must feel nice to be favored by fate. At the weekend, on the TV set, the crew bustled around. There were cameras and equipment everywhere, and everyone focused on their tasks. Paul sat in front of the monitor, one foot propped on a chair, a cigarette dangling from his lips. Several assistant directors sat beside him. A voice crackled over the walkie-talkie, 5 minutes until shooting. All departments speed up preparations. At this moment, a small hand picked up a walkie-talkie and pressed the button. Hello? A child's voice echoed through every walkie-talkie on set. Hey, kid, don't touch things, put it back, Paul shouted impatiently. Joshua glanced at him but obediently put it down. However, he stayed put. Politely he asked, Hello uncle, can I play with the walkie-talkie? No you cannot. Paul blew a smoke ring. Are you an extra? Go away, don't cause trouble here, go Gigio. He waved dismissively. Finally, with Mr. Lefting and Ivy both absent from the set, Paul wielded the most power. He had been a lackey for far too long and wanted to be the boss for once. Joshua asked, Why not? I won't break it, I'm just curious. Paul grew even more impatient. Why so much chatter? No means no. Hey, where did you guys find this disobedient little actor? Quick, replace him, pay him for today and send him off. Okay, Paul. The assistant director responded promptly, contacting the department responsible for managing extras. He does have the look. He would look great on camera, but... Paul's words trailed off as he caught sight of a group approaching not far away. Suddenly, Paul straightened up, a smile plastered on his face. Mr. Wood. He hurried forward to greet them. Such honored guests, truly your presence adds brilliance to our production. Mrs. Wood, you're becoming more and more beautiful, more and more elegant. Paul immediately changed his tune. Tesk, he changes his demeanor so quickly, Joshua sneered. Daddy, who is this uncle? Nicole asked. The director. Paul saw Nicole and immediately praised. Ah, the young lady of the Wood family. Oh my, such a delicate and beautiful girl, even prettier than any girl I've seen before, truly a pampered little princess. Then, Paul thought of something else, looking around. Mr. Wood, don't you have a son too? Isn't he with you today? Shawn pursed his lips, his gaze falling on Joshua. Joshua was standing right behind Paul. Paul turned around and saw him, quickly shooing him away. Go, stay on the side. Why are you everywhere? It's so annoying. No production house will want to hire you in the future. If they don't, then that's their loss. Joshua shrugged. Paul was momentarily stunned. Joshua continued, You've praised all of them, why not praise me? You? Paul chuckled. Who are you? Can you even compare? Chapter 1990. I am the same as them. What could you possibly? You? Paul suddenly froze. Realization dawned on him. Joshua grinned broadly. How can you blind to be who I am? Nicole interjected. Joshua, it's our first time here, so it's normal they don't know us. Paul was sweating bullets now. This little brat he'd looked down upon turned out to be the young master of the Wood family, the future CEO of Wood Group, and heir to the Wood fortune. Oh no, how unlucky could he get? Yeah, Miss Nicole understands. It was my mistake not to recognize the young master, and I treated him like an extra. I'm so stupid, ha, I'm doomed. Paul stammered. As he spoke, Paul quickly grabbed the walkie-talkie and handed it over to Joshua. Everything here is yours to play with. Whatever you want, it's yours. Joshua did not take it, letting the walkie-talkie drop to the floor with a loud thud. I'm not interested anymore. Joshua shrugged. You keep it for yourself. He coolly crossed his arms and walked over to Shawn's side. You can see the resemblance in their faces when father and son stand side by side. Paul was beating himself up inside. How could he be so unlucky to have previously offended Mrs. Wood and now Joshua? We came today to see Ivy. To avoid causing you trouble, we didn't mention it beforehand and don't intend to delay your filming, Gale spoke up. Right. Nicole nodded happily. Where's Ivy? I want to see her and I want to see her film. Paul looked uneasy. Well, Shawn quickly sensed something amiss. Mr. Wood, Ivy, she's on leave, her scenes have been postponed, and we're filming for the other leads first. When she returns they'll redo her scenes, Paul said. On leave? Yes, you and Mrs. Wood didn't know about this? Paul was puzzled too. It was Mr. Lefting who had requested the leave. With just one sentence, he had to obey and dared not ask more questions. For how long? Why is she on leave? Shawn asked. I don't know the reason nor the duration. What do you know, Ten? Shawn's tone clearly showed displeasure. Paul chuckled nervously. Mr. Wood, Ivy is our leading lady, but she's also Mr. Lefting's girlfriend. Her status is quite special and I have no say. Maybe she and Mr. Lefting just got together so they are deeply in love and inseparable and want to enjoy the sweetness of romance. We'd understand if they put work temporarily on hold. No, that's not possible. Ivy isn't the type to abandon work and responsibilities for love. Gale immediately refuted. As the leading lady, Ivy would not take unexplained leave and abandon the set. Paul scratched his head. Well, I don't know. Gale looked at Shawn. He squeezed her hand, suddenly smiling. All right, I understand. Paul, please continue filming, we won't disturb you. Mr. Wood, you're too polite. How could you disturb us? I welcome your family to the set. Next time you come, you can let us know in advance. I'll arrange for the young master and young miss to experience the set properly. Paul tried hard to please Joshua and Nicole. By then, if the young master and young miss are interested in acting, I can arrange for you to play a role. When it airs, you can see yourselves on screen. Joshua rolled his eyes. If I want to act, I have plenty of opportunities. Why do I need you to suck up to me? With that, he took Nicole's hand. Let's go. Since Paul had offended him, he did not want to bother with him.